meaningful units, or chunks. For example, that long number string becomes much easier to remember if you chunk it into a zip code, 90210, and a famous song, 8675309. You use chunking all the time without even realizing it. A phone number is chunked into an area code and two smaller groups. The letters CAT are not three separate items but one chunk, a furry animal. When you're studying a complex topic, you can use chunking to make it more manageable. Instead of trying to memorize 20 different facts about the American Civil War, you can group them into chunks like causes of the war, major battles, and Reconstruction. This organizes the information, gives it structure, and makes it much easier for your brain to handle and store. Chunking reduces the cognitive load and helps you see the bigger picture. Here's a workout that will really make your memory sweat active recall. It's also known as retrieval practice. And honestly, it's the single most effective study strategy you can use. As we discussed, simply rereading or looking at your notes is passive. Active recall is the opposite. It means actively retrieving information from your memory. After you read a chapter in a textbook, close the book and try to write down or say out loud everything you can remember. Or you can use flashcards, but use them correctly. Instead of just looking at the answer, force yourself to try to remember it first. This effortful retrieval is what builds strong memories. The struggle is the point. When you try to recall an answer and can't quite get it, your brain flags that information as important. When you then check the answer, the connection you form will be much, much stronger than if you had just read it passively. It's like searching for a file on your computer. If you know exactly where it is, you just click on it. But, if you have to search for it, you'll remember the path you took to find it much better next time. You can practice active recall by giving yourself quizzes, using the questions at the end of a chapter, or having a friend ask you questions. It might feel harder and slower than rereading, but the results are dramatically better. Sometimes, you need to remember information that is abstract or doesn't have much meaning on its own, like a list of names or a specific order of things. This is where mnemonic devices come in. Mnemonics are memory aids that help you link new information to something you already know, often using creative patterns, rhymes, or images. You probably already know some. For the order of the planets, you might have learned, "My very educated mother just served us noodles." For the colors of the rainbow, there's Roy G. Biv. These tricks work by making boring information more interesting, vivid, and easier to hook into your existing knowledge. You can create your own mnemonics for anything you need to learn. Acronyms like Roy G. Biv are great for lists. You can also use acrostics, which are inventive sentences where the first letter of each word corresponds to an item you need to remember. Another powerful technique is to create a vivid, silly, or bizarre mental image to connect two things. If you need to remember that the Spanish word for cat is gato, you could picture a cat wearing a gate around its neck. The weirder and more emotional the image, the more likely you are to remember it. Mnemonics are like creative shortcuts for your brain. Are you ready for an advanced memory technique, one used by memory champions around the world? It's called the method of Loci, or more famously, the Mind Palace. This technique is thousands of years old, dating back to ancient Greece, and it works by using your excellent spatial memory to store and recall information. Think about how easily you can mentally walk through your own home. You know where the kitchen is, where the sofa is, where your bed is. The Mind Palace technique leverages this natural ability. The first step is to choose a place you know extremely well, like your house, your school, or your favorite walk through a park. This will be your palace. Once you have your palace, you need to plan a specific route through it. For example, you might start at the front door, walk into the living room, then the kitchen, then up the stairs to your bedroom. Along this route you identify specific locations, or loci. These could be the doormat, the coffee table, the kitchen sink, the microwave, the third step on the staircase, your desk, and so on. You should have a fixed order for these locations. Practice walking through this route in your mind several times until it becomes automatic. The more vivid and detailed your mental image of the palace is, the better it will work. Now, here comes the fun part. To remember a list of items, say a shopping list or the key points of a speech, you mentally place each item at a specific location in your palace. The key is to create a bizarre, vivid, and memorable image that connects the item to the location. If the first item on your list is eggs, you might imagine a giant, splattered egg dripping all over your front door. If the second item is milk, you could picture your coffee table floating in a swimming pool of milk. If the third is bread, you might imagine a giant loaf of bread baking inside your kitchen sink. Make the images as unusual, funny, or even gross as you can. When you need to recall the list, you simply take a mental stroll through your mind palace. As you arrive at each location, the bizarre image you created will pop back into your mind, reminding you of the item you stored there. Walking from the front door, eggs, to the coffee table, milk, to the sink, bread, allows you to recall the items in the correct order. This technique might sound complicated, but with a little practice, it is an incredibly powerful way to remember huge amounts of information. You can build multiple palaces for different subjects. It turns memorization from a chore into a creative, imaginative game. All these amazing memory techniques won't work very well if your brain isn't in good shape. Your brain is a physical part of your body and it needs proper care, just like your heart or your muscles. The single most important thing you can do for your memory is to get enough quality sleep. Sleep is not just downtime for your brain, it's a critical period of activity. While you sleep, your brain is busy cleaning out waste products that build up during the day, and crucially, consolidating memories. It's during sleep, especially deep sleep, that your brain replays the day's events and strengthens the neural connections of things you learned, transferring them to long-term storage. Pulling an all-nighter before an exam is one of the worst things you can do for your memory. What you eat also has a direct impact on your brain function. Your brain needs high-quality fuel to perform at its best. Think about eating brain foods. These are foods rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. Things like blueberries, sometimes called brainberries, fatty fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, nuts, seeds, broccoli, and dark chocolate are all fantastic for brain health. On the flip side, a diet high in sugar and processed foods can lead to inflammation and impair memory and learning. And don't forget to drink plenty of water. Your brain is about 3/4 water, and even mild dehydration can cause brain fog, headaches, and a decline in cognitive performance. Physical exercise is another powerful brain booster. When you exercise, you increase blood flow to the brain, which delivers more oxygen and nutrients. Exercise also stimulates the release of chemicals like brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, which is like fertilizer for your neurons. It helps them grow, connect, and stay healthy. Regular physical activity has been shown to improve memory, attention, and problem-solving skills, and it can even promote the growth of new neurons in the hippocampus. You don't have to run a marathon, even a brisk walk, a bike ride, or dancing around your room can make a big difference. Finally, managing stress is essential for a healthy memory. When you're stressed, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. While a little bit of cortisol can be helpful in short bursts, chronic high levels of stress can be toxic to your brain. It can damage the hippocampus, the very part of your brain you need for making new memories, and interfere with your ability to retrieve old ones. That's why you might go blank during a stressful exam. Finding healthy ways to manage stress, like mindfulness, meditation, spending time in nature, listening to music, or talking with friends, is not just good for your well-being, it's a critical part of maintaining a sharp and reliable memory. So there you have it. Your brain is not a mysterious black box. It's an incredible, dynamic, and trainable part of you. We've busted the myth that you only use 10% of it, and we've thrown that useless learning pyramid out the window. The truth is much more exciting. You have the power to change your own brain. Learning isn't about having a good or bad memory. It's about using the right strategies. It's about shifting from passive, ineffective habits like rereading to active, effortful techniques that build real, lasting knowledge. You are the architect of your own neural pathways. Think about the tools we've discussed. Spaced repetition helps you fight the forgetting curve by reviewing information at the perfect moments. Chunking helps you manage complex topics by breaking them down into digestible pieces. Active recall, the heavy lifting of memory, forces your brain to retrieve information, making it stronger each time. And fun mnemonic devices, from acronyms to the Grand Mind Palace, turn memorization into a creative act. These aren't just tricks, they are methods based on decades of scientific research into how our brains actually work. They are the user manual you were never given. Remember to take care of the hardware too. A well-rested, well-nourished, and well-exercised brain is a brain that's ready to learn. Don't underestimate the power of a good night's sleep, a healthy meal, a brisk walk, and a few minutes of calm. These lifestyle choices are not separate from your academic or learning goals. They are the very foundation upon which successful learning is built. By taking care of your physical and mental health, you are creating the optimal environment for your neurons to thrive, connect, and store all the wonderful things you want to learn and experience. The most important thing to take away from all this is a sense of empowerment. You can be a more effective learner starting today. You don't have to use all these techniques at once. Pick one that sounds interesting and try it out. Maybe start by creating flashcards for active recall, or try chunking your notes for your next class. Maybe design a small mind palace for your shopping list. The journey to becoming a better learner is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, be curious, and have fun with it. Your brain is the most amazing tool you will ever own. Now you know how to use it. Go forth and learn. Consider the following. You are awesome.